Welcome, you guys, to another episode of the Flow TV. Today, I want to talk about being here first or being one with God and not allowing anyone to take your steps that God has ordered. The scripture that I wanted to go off of today is the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in his way. Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholdeth him with his hand. And oftentimes we'll say, oh, my steps are ordered by the Lord, but it's kind of like, do you know what that means? Do you know what God is saying when he says that he ordered your steps? When he pretty much delighteth in your path. I wanted to speak with you guys about that today because ultimately God has set up a predestined purpose time for us, a plan, for he knows the plans he has for us. He specifically created you on this earth for specific plans. And there were instances in the Bible where you would see that there were unfortunate events that happen and we think, oh, it's the devil or it's hell. And I wanted to talk about that because sometimes things show up in our lives and we don't categorize them as the plans and the workings of God. Jesus worked the works and went on and did miracles and healing. And there was this instance in the Bible where a man was sitting and people would get in the pool before him. And most people thought, oh, did his parents sin? He was a blind man. Why couldn't he get up and, he was there and why couldn't he get up and walk and go to this place before everyone went to the pool before him and got healed? Only one person could go when it gets stirred up and actually get healed. And in this instance, Jesus comes and actually heals him and then sends him to the pool of sin. And I want to talk about that because his steps were ordered even from when he was born. There's a specific time, there's a specific place that God is going to be when you and show up in your life when you're predestined for your specific purpose and time, because the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. Not the steps of every man, just the steps of a good man is ordered by the Lord. And the Lord delighteth in his way. My steps, the plans, the way in which I go, where I end up and where I intend are all ordered by the Lord. So even if I make up in my mind to go somewhere else, even if I set in place to go somewhere else, that is ordered by the Lord. That is a plan of my life. In the Bible, God talks about here about creating earth specifically for us. However, we were not here prior to. It's like, okay, God created earth before he created us. He created it with us in mind. And he asks, where were you when I created it? In Job, he's talking to Job because Job is sitting here upset at the situations that have occurred in his life. And Job is having this conversation with God and his friends. And he says, where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare if thou hast understanding of this. The New King James Version says, where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Tell me if you have understanding. Who determined its measurements? Surely you know. Or who stretched the line upon it? To what were its bases and foundations fastened? Or who laid the cornerstone? When the morning stars sang together and all the sons of God shouted for joy? Or who shut in the sea with doors when it burst forth and issued from the womb? When I made the clouds as garments and thick in darkness as swaddling band, when I fixed my limits for it and set the bars and the doors. When I said, this far you may come, but no farther, and here your proud waves must stop. Have you commanded the morning since your day began, and caused the dawn to know its place, that it might take hold of the ends of the earth, and the wicked be shaken out of it? It takes on form like clay under a seal and stands out like a garment. From the wicked their light is withheld, and the upraised arm is broken. I want to talk about that because God created heavens and earth with us in mind. It was a plan and predestined something for God to do. So even if something happened, even if I trip, I slip, I fall, God is still going to catch me and upbring me because his plans and steps were ordered. Because his hand will and is always on us any which way we go. My message today was I was here first. When God talks about how he laid the foundations and he was here first, we're supposed to be one with God. We're supposed to be created in his image and likeness and acting in his image. However, life does not issue us that. So we have to respond and react accordingly. However, God has predestined earth for us to teach us the way in which we should go. As he continues to teach us and guide us in these steps and plans that he's predestined and ordered us, did we make those plans? Did we order those steps? Did we know the ins and the outs of the earth? Did we? Were you the brains of the intricate details in the creation and bases of which light and dark and day and night and rest and rise occurred? He pulled the sea back just enough so that we could walk on the sand, so that he can compare the children of Abraham to be numbered as sand, so we can create our memories in the sand, so that you could put your feet in the sand. He thought of those things. He said, I put my limits upon the earth, the limitless, doing the impossible. God created doors for us to come in and go out, opening and shutting doors. And sometimes those are specific plans and ordered steps of the Lord. It's not something to bring you down, it's something to pull you up. Specific doors at an opportune time. He created a specific time, a destined time, a predestined time for you to go in and out of these doors. Do you command your morning? Does the sun rise just because you awoke? You think the sun rise and shine, and it does. To tell dawn come later at its proper time. You know how all this was. You are from me and I from you. I formed you into my image and likeness. He formed us to be one with him. He formed us as his own creation, to sit in his creation. How creative is that? And I want to talk about that because there was this moment in John 9, and as Jesus passed, he saw a man which was blind from birth, and his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? And Jesus answered, Neither had this man sinned nor his parents, but that he worked the works of God should be made manifest in him. I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. When he had thus spoken, he spat on the ground and made clay of spittle. And he anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay, and said unto him, Go wash in the pool of Siloam, which is interpretation sent. He went his way therefore and washed and came seeing. The neighbors therefore and they which before had seen him, that he was blind, said, Is not this he that sat and begged? Some said, This is he. Others said, He is like him. But he said, I am he. Therefore said they unto him, How were thine eyes opened? He answered and said, A man that is called Jesus made clay and anointed my eyes and said to me, Go to the pool of Siloam and wash. And I, I washed and I received sight. Then said unto him, Where is he? He said, I know not. And there was another instance in the Bible where the water would stir up and people would get healed, and someone would go in before the man that was, they were lame, blind, people that were crippled, and they would go in before him. And finally, Jesus said, Just take up your bed and walk. And as the water stirred, it would heal. And I think sometimes we wait on other things and other means to heal us and do things in our life, when Jesus is saying, I predestined and set a purpose time for your healing. And this man from birth, he sat in this predicament, in this situation for a long time. And I think sometimes we look at our situations and be like, this has been a long time coming. This has been going on so long. But I set a specific door for a specific time for you to open, is what God is saying now, because I think there are people that are waiting for this specific door to open. And maybe this is not the time for that door to open. This is not the season for that door to open. And God opens and shuts doors. He pulls things back and pushes things forward at specific times and specific seasons for specific reasons. And it's specifically for you, because He created you specifically for this earth for a specific time and season. And I think if we get so caught up in the timing, or when, where, why, and how, that we forget to see the actual opportune time that God has set for us. And if we get so caught up in that, we'll miss the opportunity. But even the missing in the opportunity is still a part of His steps that He ordered and the plans that He set before you. So I just want to tell you that, because sometimes I'm a worry, or I know I could get worried about specific things. And even me being on the airplane, I was sitting there worrying. And as the prophets begin to prophesy to me, I'm like, you know what they were prophesying were things that were already confirmed by God, and they were already things that were said by God. So you're just confirming and reaffirming and reevaluating what God already said, and already plans that have been placed and been set before us has already changed on our behalf already. So I just want to tell you guys that nobody can even speak bad over your situation, because God has already predestined that bad prophecy, that bad spoken word. He's already set up a plan for that. He's already ordered your steps for that. And even if you fall, it says He will say, though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholdeth him with His hand. God is still upholding it, because His word stands forever. Even the centurion The soldier came and answered and said, Lord, I'm not worthy that thou should come under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. He believed that Jesus had the authority to speak the healing away from the actual individual that was sick. And I want to tell you that God is speaking a word over your situation, and it is going to come to pass because of the authority that is on him. Even he believed, and because he believed and he had faith, Jesus was able to work those works that God sent him here to do. And he sent you here to do a working and a willing. And if you can rise out of the ashes of the situations that have been occurring, the things that have been happening, and do those works and work the works and do what you were sitting here and planted to do, this series and what we're doing this year, changing and forming, we're changing and forming to who God said we are. I'm talking about the root of a thing. We've been sitting in the roots of things, and time to cut those roots and replant and grow. And that's what we're talking about, growing in our initial being, growing in who God told us to be. That was the word that God gave me for New Year's. Changing and forming. I was like, God, what are we doing this year? We went through mind your business, do what's right. We went through don't react, don't respond. Although we react and respond because we're mere human beings, and this season is changing and forming into who God predestined for us to be, and growing into that, actually changing the root of the thing, the base of the thing, and the foundation of the thing. We didn't create the heavens and the earth. We didn't create all of that God says that he created, which is amazing in itself, but we were here first. The name of my message is I was here first. That God sent me. He planted me here specifically for this reason in this season. And I'm changing and forming into who he told me to be, even unto now. And every day we're going to change and form into that in 2023 because we were here first. And that's saying that I was made in his image, his likeness, and who he is. I'm one with him. I was created for him, and he created this earth for me. And that's saying that I'm going to walk through those doors, and I maybe might not walk through those doors, and I'm going to walk on that sea. I might not walk on that sea. It's just saying that God created it specifically for me. And if you could say that he uniquely created your life for you, your earth for you that you walk on, you'll be able to walk on any basis and foundation and grow and experience this thing called life. Much love. Be blessed. God's love. Until next time. You can get my book on my site, www.daliashavon.com. You can also get the Gold Mine series off Barnes & Noble for $15.99. Much love. Be blessed. God's love.